Hello, everybody. Hello, be friendly, be friendly. Okay, enough, it's enough. Shenganik. I like to tell a story very often about something that happened to me a few years ago. I was asked to speak at the Torah Masorah convention. This is about, I don't know, must be 5 years ago, maybe more. And it's a huge crowd in the Torah Masorah convention, bigger than here, bigger, 1,800 people. So it was a great kibbud. My spot was Shabbos afternoon, 2 o'clock. I want to tell you what happened on that day. Maybe you heard already, but it's worth listening again. There were 2 people speaking that day, myself and Rabbi Moshe Weinberger. Rabbi Moshe Weinberger was not the one from Woodmere, the one from Flatbush, tremendous Talmid Chacham, very special person. He was speaking first. This is what happened. They introduce him. He comes up to the podium and he says this: I'm standing here today and I am remembering my high school graduation. I graduated from the great Torah institution of the Telsha Yeshiva in Wickliffe, Ohio. At my high school graduation, you know, every high school graduation has a special prize. It's called the valedictorian. He said, I was not the valedictorian, but I was the second prize, the salutatorian. I was sitting in the audience waiting to speak. And first they called up the valedictorian, somebody from my class. We were 17 years old. He got up at that graduation and he gave a drosha you wouldn't believe. He was varfing rishonim, achreinim, svaras. He was saying unbelievable pilpul. I'm sitting in the audience thinking, I can't do that. I didn't even know he was such a Talmid Chacham. He's 17 years old. He's tremendous. What am I going to do? When he finished, he said, then it was my turn to go up. So I got up and I did what I do best. I told jokes. Everybody loved it, he said. I was murdering them. You know what that means. I was murdering them. They were rolling in the aisles. He's very funny, by the way. He's right. Everybody in the audience loved my comedy routine. There was only one person in the entire hall who was not amused. Some of you can predict. Rav Mordechai Gifter, Zichron Livrocha, a very serious man. He was sitting behind me, he said. I didn't realize that, but he was not very happy with this. In the middle of my speech, he said, he got up, he walked over to me, and he whispered in my ear, and he said these words. He said, Weinberger, we expected more from you. Whoa. Trauma. We're going to speak a lot about trauma this weekend. That was trauma, he said. My whole life, these words are ringing in my ears. Weinberger, we expected more from you. Okay. Then he gave his drasha, and he's a beautiful speech at the convention, this and that, finished. Not important. Then I got up to speak after him. So I get up, and I say, you know, I remember my high school graduation also. I said, I was not also the valedictorian, that's true, but I was not the salutatorian. I don't even think I got a diploma. They gave me one of these sheets, you know, come to the office tomorrow or something like that. Okay. I said, I am standing here in front of 1,800 people, and I see in the front row here is sitting my Rav, my Mora D'Asra, for so many years. Rav Hill David soll sein gesund. He's going to be here soon. He's sitting right in front, and I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking, oh, my only tefillah is that he shouldn't come up to me and say, Solomon, we expected more from you. but it's not over. So I gave my speech, very nice. About an hour later, 3 o'clock Shabbos afternoon, true story, I'm walking in the lobby, and in the lobby of the hotel, at the other end of the lobby, there he is, Rav Hillel David. I said, oh, now I'll get the review of my speech. He comes towards me. I come towards him, and as he gets up to me, he says to me, don't worry, Uncle, we didn't expect more from you. You know, true story, yes. Hard to believe. You know, I have to tell you, it's a tremendous kavod for me to be here. Rav Gedalia, sein gesund, I think he heard me speak a couple of months ago at the Aguda convention, and he heard me speak about a certain topic. And then when he called me and he said to me, this topic that you spoke about at the convention, this is what you should speak about here today. I said, life is about expectations. We expected more from you. We didn't expect more from you. You all have expectations of yourselves, of your kids, of your families. It's all about expectations. I spoke there about marriage. That's not what people are expecting here tonight. He said, that's okay. Speak about it anyway. And I understood, because I think what he meant was, and in understanding the things that we are all going through, I think what he meant was challenges in life can bring out the best in a person, and they can bring out the worst in a person. That's what challenges do, and it's the same with marriage. When you have challenges in your family, that can bring a husband and wife closer together, and Khalila, it could drive you apart like nothing else, and sometimes both. If you have a strong bond with your mate, it will make a big difference. It'll make a big difference to you, and in my opinion, it can make a big difference to your children. The stronger that bond is, the greater your children, more secure they will feel, the more love in the house there will be, and it can make a difference. It's not direct, it's indirect. But in my experience, whether it be 35 or 40 years or whatever it may be, in my experience, the indirect way is sometimes the best. Marriage is not what it used to be. Things have changed drastically. I sit in my office and I hear people, couples come in, they discuss problems. You know what they discuss? They discuss old problems and they discuss new problems. The old problems we all know. The basic problems of marriage, everybody is familiar with. There are problems. Relationships are very complicated. I don't have to tell you. And people are dissatisfied in all different ways. The old problems are there, but there are a lot of new problems. What are some of the new problems that we face that I see? I'm just going to tell you three very quickly. New problem, money. Money is a new problem. What do I mean? The lack of money, yeah, that's the old problem. Too much money, that's the new problem. There are a lot of people, not everyone, of course, but there's a lot of people with a lot of money. Let's face it. And you know what? It's not a free ride. And it's not an easy ride. Those of you who don't have are thinking, oh, I'll take it. We'll take that problem. You understand? But I see a lot of people with a lot of money who have a lot of problems. What do you do with the money? How do you spend the money? Suddenly it's a problem. Where do you go to vacation? Do you go where we always went? Or no, now we go to St. Martin, and we go to Cancun, and we go. What do we do with the money? What kind of car do we buy? Do we buy the Tesla, or the Mercedes, or the Range Rover, or the Chevy? Maybe we say, are there still Chevys? I know there's a Shaitel, a Chevy, that I know. Are there still Chevy? How do you spend it? What kind of car do you buy? What kind of home do you have? How do you furnish it? Where do you spend your money? It's become a new problem. Another new problem, the kids, of course, but not only in the kids that we're struggling with here today, but in the way the kids become so spoiled, as you know. That's a whole other topic, a different situation. And finally, of course, the cell phones. In my opinion, perhaps the biggest problem we have. Great, wonderful thing, we wouldn't trade it in for anything. Advancement, progression, technology, wonderful, we love progress. But the cell phones have become so much of a problem. I don't have to tell you, we don't even look at each other anymore. They could sit there all night together on their phones, texting, WhatsApping, who knows what. The problem with cell phones is much deeper. It's not only that there's no interaction, but something else happens. Believe it or not, I've heard couples tell me, we don't even need the relationship so much anymore. Do you know how many friends I have on my phone? How many contacts, how many likes? I don't know what they're called anymore. The basis of the relationship is different now. Everything is just cast away. So we have new problems. But in my opinion, new problems need old solutions. I know you thought I was going to say something else. New problems need old solutions. The old solutions can work if they're applied properly. But before I tell you about the old solutions, you may notice that I brought up something here with me today. I want to show it to you. It's very interesting. The most interesting is, of course, is the bag, which is the Shell station. This is an advertisement for everybody. Those of you who know us, yes, Shell station. My wife is here. Thank you. Here I have a mug. Reb Shimon, do you see the mug? Yeah. Here's a mug. It doesn't matter that it says FJJ, another plug. I get thousands of dollars for doing these things, by the way. Yeah. This is my coffee mug. It's the mug I use every day. I was never much into coffee, I'll tell you the truth. Once in a while, but really not. I look around, everybody's drinking coffee, all day, all night, one after the other. Everybody's addicted. What's going on with the coffee? So after many, many years, I don't know how many years ago it was, I finally gave in. I said, you know what, I'll have coffee too, all right. So I tasted it, a regular instant coffee. I said, it's a ganskit. I started drinking coffee. Okay, I have one coffee a day. I learn in Lutsk and Lakewood every day, 12 o'clock. You'll see me there. You can come. We could schmooze there. 12 o'clock, I'm there. Take out my mug. This is the mug, and I have my coffee. It's good. It's okay. It's fine. There's only one day a week that I don't have this coffee, and that's Shabbos. You see, Shabbos, my dear wife, she makes me the coffee. She makes coffee for me. I have it every Shabbos morning. I began to notice something. You know, the Shabbos coffee tastes better than the coffee the rest of the week. It really tasted better. It wasn't my imagination. And don't tell me it was the Kedusha Shabbos. It tasted better. So I said to my wife, I said, what's going on? How are you making this coffee so much better than mine? She said, it's just instant coffee. I said, it's water with the coffee, with the Splenda, and the milk. I know what's in there. That's it. I said, but it's not possible. So one day I said, you know what? I'm going to watch. I'm going to watch how she makes that. I'm going to study it because there must be something different. So he says, okay, you'll see it's nothing different. She goes to the coffee. She makes the coffee. I'm standing there like this, like a nudge. And I'm watching, standing there like that and looking at, yeah. Okay. She's looking back at me. Okay. She finishes. And she says, you see, nothing to it. Just like I told you. It's the water and the coffee. The water first on Shabbos. The water and the coffee, the Splenda, the milk and the soup. I said, no. It's not true. So what are you talking about? That's all I did. I said, I watched very carefully. You put in less coffee than I put in. You also put in less Splenda than I put in. And you also put in less milk than I put in. There were actually three different, there was a fourth thing. She stirred the coffee before she put the milk in. Isn't that fascinating? Aren't you glad you came to this convention? So that when people will ask you, what did you learn? Well, first of all, there was this nut up there. Told me about the coffee his wife makes on Shabbos. I don't know what he was talking about. Anyway, there were actually 4 differences in the way she made the coffee. Why is this relevant? Stay tuned. The one thing I want to tell you about, only one nakuda, because I only have a few minutes. The only one nakuda that I want to tell you about marriage. One little thing. Shteit yesh chochma b'goyim. There's a famous book, The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. And I want you to know that I started using this very often in my office with couples, and it makes a big difference. It basically says one thing. We all speak different languages. What's important to you is not important to me. That's all. And if you can understand what's important to me, and you'll be able to help me with that, and I'll understand what's important with you, we will connect better. It's the most basic, simple thing in the world. And he says there are actually 5 languages. Acts of service, what is that? You know, if you pick up something for your wife on the way home, if you do something in the house, if she finds something for you. Number 2, quality time. What's quality time? I don't know. Whatever you think quality time is. Sometimes it's just sitting on the couch, doing nothing. Quality time. Words of affirmation, very important. Gifts and physical touch. 5 different languages. Words of affirmation are fascinating. My good friend, my colleague, Dr. Meir Wickler, actually told me this. He said he was working with a couple, believe this? This woman said she never heard a good word out of her husband. Nothing. She never said anything nice to me. So what did she do? She finally got sick and tired of it. So they were getting ready for a chasana, and she was getting dressed, and she was waiting for him to say nothing to her. She wrote out a sign, and on the sign she wrote, "Read this out loud. You look beautiful." And she gave it to him. She got dressed, and when she finished, he took out the sign. And this is what he did with it. He read it. He said, quote, "Read this sign. You look beautiful." And he put it down. The fascinating thing about the story is that she told Dr. Wickler, she said to him, "You know what? It felt good." I wish I wasn't laughing. It's very sad. She said it felt good. He said he read a sign and she felt good. So desperate was this woman for any words of affirmation, so desperate that she felt good. That's how powerful it is. Find out what your spouse's language is. Talk about it. If I bring home flowers for you, but she doesn't like flowers, you haven't done anything. But I bring flowers every shot. What are you doing? If I tell him what a wonderful husband he is, but he doesn't care about that, you've done nothing. You need to meet. You need to understand the language. Just that. I ask you to look into it. Find out what your language is. Find out what your spouse's language is, and start talking that language. It will make all the difference in the world. And your family will change. Your relationship will change. Your marriage will change. It'll get stronger. You'll feel better. Your kids will benefit. Now you'll ask, so what's with the coffee? What is that? You see, life is complicated. Coffee, pretty simple, right? Pretty simple. But you know what? Everything has nuances. Everything, the small things matter. A little less splendor, a little less coffee, a little less milk. It makes a difference. But how are you going to find out? It's not so simple. Words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, gifts. What is it? What's the language? You're going to have to study it. You have to lean over your wife while she makes the coffee and watch every ingredient and see, oh, wait a second, it's a little less. Oh, it's a little less. Oh, I get it now. And that's what makes the difference. And when that makes a difference, then you're going to speak that language, and then you're going to be working on all cylinders. That's my message to you, my simple message to you about how to get your marriage on track. And let me just end, before we introduce the feature of this whole convention. Let me just end with one final thought from my Rebbe, Rav Pam. I remember him saying this more than once. It's a lesson for life that I want to leave you with. If you want to know how to build a relationship, you want to know that you have a whole world that you have at home, and you want to know how to build it. You know how to build a world? Ask the Ribbon Shalom. How did he build the world? So he said, Rav Pam, he said, take a look how the Eibishter built the world. When he was all finished building the world, Vayar Elikim es kol asher asa, v'hinei toiv ma'od. HaKadosh Baruch Hu looked at everything he made, and he said, you know what? Ganz gut. Really? Fragt Rav Pam, really? That's what Eibishter was doing? He asks, he said, I take a look. He's taking a look at what he did, and he says, you know what? Good job. Why is he doing that? Why is he giving himself the evaluation? But even a greater question is, was it really Toiv Ma'od? Well, let's take a look. The first day he made the oir. Light. Very good. Not so fast. He made the oir that was so bright that it had to be put away into Gniza, la'asid lovoi. For the tzaddikim, it was too bright, he had to change it. The second day he made the mayim elyonim, mayim atachtoinim. You know what happened? Fights broke out. Uh-oh, the mayim tachtoinim were jealous. They said, why can't I be on top? You'll get yours. You'll get your part. There'll be melach that'll come for you. There'll be different things in Nisach HaMayim. Third day, weiter problems. He creates a tree. How's a tree supposed to be? Eitz pri oise pri. It's supposed to taste, the bark is supposed to taste like the fruit. The tree did not cooperate. I don't know what that means. The tree didn't cooperate? Said, no good. The fourth day, you know the story, the fourth day, the Shemesh and the Yareach. They were supposed to be the same size. The Yareach got jealous. He had to make it smaller. Fifth day comes, he makes the fish. He makes the Levyasan. The Levyasan are too big. Got to put it away. Sixth day comes, Adam and Chala. Every day had problems. Let me ask you, says Rav Pam. He was almost crying. Couldn't the Eibishter make the world perfect? Every day had to be problems? He had to change every day? The plan didn't work? How is that possible? And then at the end, when he's all finished, he says, V'hinei toiv ma'od, it's very good. What? Listen to the Yesod, and I let you go. He says, you know what? Of course the Eibishter could have made it perfect. Of course he could have. He wanted to help you. He wanted to help you to understand that when you build something and when you create something, it may not work. You may need plan B. Plan A is a good try. Even the Eibishter needed plan B. And you may need plan B. And you better be ready for it. Don't get discouraged when plan A doesn't work. That's the way the world goes. That's the way the world was created. Don't be discouraged. Move, get ready, change, get to plan B. You'll see it'll be better. What a yesod. What an important yesod. I remember walking out of the shmooze, and Rabbi Reisman was there, and he turns to me and he says, you know, if this plan B is so good, we might as well start with it. Okay, so my message to you tonight is that enjoy the coffee, but watch it. The little things count. Enjoy it. Take a look. Each ingredient as it goes in. Take notes. Be careful. Learn from it. When you understand it, you'll be able to speak each other's language well. The coffee can be delicious. And if it's not so good, spill it out and have another one. Plan B. But don't get caught up. If you speak that language, you'll be able to build that Bayis Ne'eman B'Yisrael, and everyone will flourish. L'chaim. Thank you.